So let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's not some sci-fi movie concept anymore, right? It's literally all around us, already shaping our world in some pretty profound ways, from the doctor's office to our banks. But, and this is a big but, as this technology gets more and more powerful, we have to stop and ask, are we building it responsibly? Let's dive into what an ethical blueprint for AI really looks like.
And when I say it's changing our world, I mean it's everywhere. You got AI helping doctors diagnose diseases with just mind-blowing accuracy. It's in schools, helping teachers create learning plans tailored to individual students. And it's behind the scenes making huge decisions in banking and transportation. The benefits are definitely real, and they're happening as we speak.
Okay, but with all that incredible power, well, it brings a whole new set of challenges with it. You see, we're not just embedding lines of code into our world. We're embedding our values, our biases, our ethics. And we need to be so careful about what values we're actually teaching these machines. So that brings us to the big questions, doesn't it? How do we make sure AI is fair for everyone? How do we protect our privacy? And maybe the trickiest one of all, who's on the hook when things go wrong? These are the huge ethical hurdles we've got to clear if we want an AI future we can actually trust.
First up, fairness. You've got to remember, at its very core, an AI is a learning machine. It learns from whatever data we feed it. But what happens when that data is, well, messy? What if it's already full of our own historical and societal biases? Well, the AI doesn't just learn those biases. Oh no, it puts them on steroids, creating this massive, automated system of potential discrimination.
And look, this isn't just some abstract, theoretical problem. This is real life. Just imagine applying for a loan, or maybe your dream job, and you get rejected. Not because you weren't qualified, but because some algorithm flags something in your background that it associated with a higher risk, a bias it picked up from decades of old, flawed human data.
All right, moving on from fairness, let's talk about privacy. This is a big one. For an AI to be effective, it needs data. A ton of data. And a lot of the time, that data is, our deeply personal information.
We're not just talking about your browsing history here. We're talking about your private medical records, your financial information, even your location data from moment to moment. The potential for this to be misused is absolutely enormous, so it's really no wonder people are concerned about who has access to this info and what they're doing with it.
Which brings us to what a lot of people call the black box problem. You see, many of these AI systems can give us shockingly accurate answers, but here's the kicker. They can't explain how they got there. They can't show their work. And if we can't understand the reasoning, how on earth are we supposed to trust the outcome, especially when the stakes are incredibly high?
I mean, just think about it. Would you trust a medical diagnosis from a machine that couldn't explain its logic? Or would a judge accept a sentencing recommendation from an algorithm without knowing what factors it even considered? Without transparency, you just can't have real trust. Period.
And now for what might be the toughest question of them all. When a self-driving car has an accident or a medical AI misdiagnoses a patient, who is to blame?
The lines of responsibility get super blurry, don't they? Is it the programmer who wrote the code, the corporation that sold the system, the person who was actually using it? There are no easy answers here, and this is a massive legal and ethical knot we absolutely have to untangle.
And really, underneath all of these concerns is the most fundamental principle of all: safety. Before we even get to fairness or transparency, an AI system must, first and foremost, be reliable and secure. Bottom line, it cannot be allowed to cause physical, financial, or societal harm.
Okay, so these challenges are pretty huge, I get it. But they're not insurmountable. Researchers, policymakers, and ethicists are all working on a blueprint for responsible AI. So let's look at the core principles that can guide us forward.
This blueprint is built on 4 key pillars. First, being fair. That means actively working to find and get rid of bias. Second, being transparent, which means making AI systems understandable to us humans. Third, being safe and reliable, ensuring they work as expected and don't cause harm. And finally, being respectful, designing AI that protects our privacy and upholds basic human rights.
I love this quote because it really captures the ideal relationship here. The goal isn't replacement, it's all about partnership. We should be building tools that enhance our own intelligence, that expand our capabilities, and that help us tackle humanity's biggest challenges, together.
So these principles give us a really powerful framework. But a framework isn't enough, right? How do we actually put all this into practice? What does it take to translate these great ideas into a reality we can all live with?
Well, one thing's for sure. This can't just be left to individual companies or developers to figure out on their own. It requires a collective effort. We're going to need some clear rules of the road, thoughtful policies and regulations to make sure AI is developed and deployed responsibly, so its incredible benefits are shared by all of society.
You know, in the end, AI is really just a mirror. It reflects the data we feed it, the instructions we give it, and the values we prioritize. The technology itself is neutral. So the real question isn't what AI will do, but what we will choose to do with it. The future of AI is truly in our hands. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.